So, welcome to our second poetry podcast for the festive season.
Indeed. And thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing with us some poems that are really deep in our hearts. And what I'm going to begin with, because, I'm very egocentric, there's no other reason for saying that, is with a Polish poem, in fact. Which I can't do in English, but in Poland, Christmas is extremely important. In fact, Christmas Eve is the big day, isn't it?
Isn't it a very big meal with lots of courses?
Yes, it is. It is indeed. And they can't. It's bigger than Christmas Day. I've learned much, and it's very, very ritualized, more than we have in. Our culture is very kind of Americanized.
So have a turkey, eat as much as you can.
Well, indeed.
Pretty much, yes.
Unless you're a vegan. Or a vegan turkey.
Of course.
Case, Well, turkeys are vegan, aren't they?
I think they are, yes.
Yeah, so that's a particular cruel irony there. Am I blue? Yes. Winter by Julian Thwim. 6 o'clock dark. A cold day begins. The rattle in the park of clattering tins. Clank on cobblestone, slowly and far. In grey-bluish tins, milk gurgles in its jars. Horses blow mist, the people shake. Wagons persist, hard hobbling awake. 6 o'clock dark, a cold day begins. Come into my dream. The drum roll of tins. In a sheepskin jacket I doze on the bench, breathing like a mother, in my frost dreams clench. My life in dreams frozen in flight, engulfed by spluttering, milky and white. White and warm, a motherly gurgle comforts me, hides me, beneath the burqa of winter. Now I've been begun. Already I'm starting, gasping, meandering in this maternal dream. In a faraway milk, an echo sways. The wagon rumbles, still quieter, farther away.
Good Lord.
I'm amazed by that.
It's a wonderful piece, isn't it? The sound, the sounds and the milk and the mother. It's such an intricately woven poem.
Yeah, very, very, very. Actually, I haven't read it aloud ever. I've only read it, But gosh, it's quite an experience to read it. It's quite a profound experience, particularly as a chap. Because it's always very feminine. It feels very feminine poem.
But there's an awful lot of struggle in there as well.
There
was a particular line, I can't remember. It's about hobbling, a line about I felt that as you read it. I was like, oh gosh.
Yes, and just to say, the last thing is that the translation is just even in this must be a thing with good poetry.
Yeah, how do you translate that? Yes,
I don't know, but. Yes, I think, and interestingly secular as well. The Christmas is a very religious time for Polish people, even if they're non-religious. It's much less the case here, isn't it? We don't. Do you attend any kind of religious thing over Christmas?
I am this year. I'm going to a Christmas carol service. And I'm going to be reading The Wise Men, and this is quite a nice thing for me because I went to a Church of England school, and for some reason I kept being asked when I was at school and we went to the cathedral for our Christmas service. I kept being asked in the last 3 years to read The Wise Men bit. So when somebody said, "Would you like to come and read something?" I went, "If I can read The Wise Men, that will be a really nice kind of circular moment." I always quite like the Magi. The thing I want to say about that poem as well, and this is really throwing a stick in the wheel, I'd love to hear it in Polish.
I know.
I'd love to just hear the rhythm of it and the sound of it.
You're so right. Well, luckily for us, Joanna Steveley, who's an actor I know who's going to be in the show we're doing in July, she is interested in coming on and reading her own poem. She is Polish, and so we'll ask her to read that.
That's
and
fantastic.
Many others. And now Andrew.
Oh, okay. Sorry, finding it on my phone. So this one is a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Do love a bit of Longfellow. Have been to New England and have been to, I think I've been to Longfellow's house. I went on a day trip to Longfellow's house, which was quite, I went, and we went to Robert Frost's house as well. We did the Day of the Poets. It was very lovely. And he's written a Christmas poem, and I quite like it because it starts off quite cheesy and then goes to quite an interesting place. And I thought this was quite relevant for this year, with everything that's going on in the world this year. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And thought how, as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men, till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then, from each black accursed mouth, the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the heartstones of a continent, and made forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Wow. What an uplifting ending. What an uplifting poem, actually.
Absolutely.
There's darkness about it. But a realism. It's a realism, isn't it, that there is suffering, but the suffering is you can. What is that? How do you feel it?
Yeah, no, I completely. It's we were talking in the last episode about how we look for hope at Christmas and the happiness.
Yes.
And this poem kind of gets that in the first three, and it feels a bit kind of bouncy, and then it goes somewhere very different, but brings that hope back out at the end.
Yes, it does. And where? Excuse me, I'm going to open the door because it's quite hot in here.
The hope fights back at the
end.
hope
fights back.
Having the analogy of war, but then the hope is going to fight back and actually win the war.
Yes.
One hopes.
Yes.
I just where's that line? I've closed it down now.
It also has a kind of American confidence.
Yes,
doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Mount Rushmore,
manifest destiny, that kind of thing.
Yes.
It was as if an earthquake rent the heartstones of a continent. That kind of ripping the household of the entire continent.
Yes.
I just thought with everything that we've got going on
happening now. Yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. And yet we will, you cling to that which is right, and even if you're the only person who does, then defeat has not occurred.
Absolutely. We all come to Christmas, we all want the same. We want that peace that we spoke about in the last episode.
Indeed we do. And well, that's been another celebration of winter through poetry that has come from our hearts to yours, dear viewer. And thank you very much for joining us. And we have one more show before Christmas time, and that is the Christmas special. Goodbye for now. Are you saying goodbye?
Bye.